Welcome to Me, Myself, and Liberty. I'm Leslie Nesmith. Have an exciting show for you today. I have Brandon Dutcher, the Senior VP at OCPA, with me today, and we're going to be talking about school choice, one of my favorite subjects. Also, I'd like for each of you to take a minute and tag everyone you know in education, every teacher, administrator, even the homeschool crowd, and maybe a few Democrats too, just so that we can, debate about this. Also, something very exciting. So, have you heard of Parlay? Have you heard Parlay? It's kind of like a Twitter, only it's really free speech.
Oh no!
Yeah. Okay.
I've
Well,
heard of
we'll have to get you set. Okay.
This one.
So Parlay, and I think we have a screenshot of my profile. Okay, so my Me, Myself, and Liberty is on Parlay. It is not Parlor. It's Parlay, like French, like Parlez-vous français. You can find me at Lesnes. Lesnes is my handle, I guess is what they call it. We also have one for OTU. So that is OTU. Let's see, it's at sign OK Taxpayers Unite. So it's brand new. There's not a lot of followers there yet. So join us on Parlay and have actual real free speech. All right, so tag your friends. We will be right back, and we're going to talk to Brandon and talk about school choice.
Great.
Drives a truck.
Visit cdluniversity.org.
At CDL University, and another success, another one drives a truck. Hey, gonna help you too. Another one drives a truck.
Hey everybody, Todd Tucker here, and everyone who knows me knows I love to read a great book, and right now I'm reading this incredible novel by local author Richard Engel. All you have to do is go to LastAmericanPresident.com and say big right now in this book. The Last American President is a story about political intrigue, romance, betrayal set against the backdrop of the dissolution of the United States of America. It's great reading, and when you go to LastAmericanPresident.com, use the promo code OTU, you're going to save money. And not only that, but half the price comes back to OTU. So half the proceeds from this book come back so you can watch great programming like you see on the OTU Media Network every day. LastAmericanPresident.com. I highly recommend this book. Read it today.
Welcome back to Me, Myself, and Liberty. If you're just now joining us, I have Brandon Dutcher with us today. I'm so excited to have you here. So you are the Senior Vice President at OCPA, which is the Oklahoma Council of Public Affairs.
That's right.
He's a good guy. He's on our side. And we are going to talk about school choice. But before that, I want to talk about you because you actually have a very impressive resume here and bio. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it and then you share anything that I miss, okay? So you received your bachelor's degree in political science, which is what I'm trying to get one of my sons to do because I think we need more conservatives to do that, from University of Oklahoma. Master's degree in journalism and in public policy from Regent University. You're listed in the Heritage Foundation Guide to Public Policy Experts. That's a nice little feather in the cap there.
Well, this gray hair.
And you're editor of the book Oklahoma Policy Blueprint, which was actually praised by the Nobel Prize winning economist Milton Friedman as thorough, well-informed, and highly sophisticated. So what else am I missing? I know there's some other things here, but I'll let you brag for a minute.
No, I've been at OCPA for 24 years. The group's been in existence a little more than 25, so we've just been after it. OCPA is a conservative think tank. It's sort of like a state-level version of the Heritage Foundation is the best way to think of it. There are 50 little baby heritages, if you will, in the 50 state capitals. So they're not franchises, but conservative think tanks. So we have been here doing our thing for a long time, and school choice is one of our most important issues.
Oh yeah, it's very important, and I think, it almost sounds cliche to say it, but it's important now more than ever.
Yeah.
And I know we say that about a lot of things, but school education is where it begins for so many kids, and it's a real battle right now. So, okay. And you also have award-winning articles that have appeared in Investors Business Daily, World Magazine, Forbes.com, and Oklahoma and Tulsa World, all kinds of stuff. So if you don't know who he is, I suggest that you start following him, not literally. That would be strange. But
Twitter.
follow him. Yeah. We're going to get him on Parlay too.
Right.
So start following him and paying attention, reading his articles, because it is very important. This subject is so important. All right. And we can't forget, you're married and have a whole slew of children, much like me.
Yes.
So talk about your wife, Susie.
Well, she is wonderful, and she's a homeschool mom extraordinaire. We have 6 kids. Our oldest is 26. Our youngest is 7. Just turned 8.
Wow.
He's 8. He turned 8 yesterday. So she is doing her part to provide this world with an educated public, but she's paying for it herself.
Yes. Well, and so your oldest is 26 and your youngest is 8. My oldest is 26 and my youngest is 4. He'll be 5 in less than a month. So 5 boys and 1 girl.
The spread, yes.
Yes. So you're in good company. All right. Anything else we need to talk about as far as your background, so people understand why we're having this conversation?
No, I'm a product of public schools. I'm a homeschool dad. I'm involved in a private school scholarship granting organization. This is all of the above, and that's the beautiful thing about educational choice. There's no one right choice. There couldn't possibly be one right choice for all these hundreds of thousands of kids in the state. The important thing is just to have choices, so parents can choose what's best for their particular child.
Definitely. I know in our situation with 6 kids, there is not a one size fits all.
Right.
I mean, it's literally 6 totally different needs there.
Right.
I mean, we have it's each kid's personality, their ability, the way that they interact, and how they interact in certain school environments. I have one that he does so much better in the small classroom, just when there's just a handful of kids, whereas some of the other kids, they get their energy and their excitement from being around large groups of people. So, okay, so for the audience, explain what school choice means.
Well, it's a broad term, but in essence, school choice or educational choice, parental choice, it just is any policy that gives parents the ability to choose the safest and best educational option for their kids.
Okay.
So rather than the government saying, look, we're going to tax you, or we're going to take this money and you have to go to the government-owned school closest to your house. Rather than just doing that, the government in school choice policy says, yes, we're going to operate the traditional district schools, but also we're going to have charter schools, and we're going to have virtual schools, and we're going to make available vouchers or tax credits to go to private schools. We're going to do all these various things so you, the parent, can choose what you want. So it's the government saying, look, we recognize that parents, not government officials, have the moral right to direct their child's path. So we as government are going to secure that right by providing school choice policies. That's it in a nutshell.
Okay. And it's so scary when you look at what's happening out in California and some of these more liberal states where they are doing everything they can to limit school choice. And something that I do before each of my podcasts is I always kind of go out and poll people on my different social media platforms and see what kind of questions they have. And one of my Facebook friends, his comment basically was, we already have school choice. You can choose to send your kids to a public school or to a private school or to a parochial school, or you can homeschool, which is true, but that's not really what we're talking about here. So
it's true that we do have school choice.
Yes.
If you can afford it.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, the government is, in Oklahoma, Tax Freedom Day comes sometime in early April. If you have to work all those days just to pay the government, you may not have enough left over to pay tuition or whatever you want to do. So yes, you have choice if you can afford to move to Deer Creek.
Yeah.
If you can afford a house here, if you can afford tuition.
Yeah.
But many people can't, especially the people that are in the worst circumstances, in terrible schools,
Yeah.
unsafe schools. You can't just blithely say, well, you have choice. Knock yourself out.
If you have choice. So that's one thing that just baffles me is a lot of the people who say they're almost arguing it from the other perspective, saying that the people in the inner cities, we can't have school choice because somehow it puts them at a disadvantage, and that doesn't even make sense when you look at what school choice really is, that it would actually give them the same opportunities that the kids in Edmond, in Deer Creek, that they're getting. So I really want, if you guys have not tagged and shared this with every educator you know, please do that now, because when we get back from this break, we're going to get into really the meat and potatoes of the school choice, okay? So we'll be back in just a minute.
Introducing all new, safe, natural relief. A cannabinoid-rich, clarity and focus formula with 17 essential supplements. When it matters most, you've got a job to do. Anxiety isn't an option. Programmed to keep you moving. A product exclusively manufactured for Active Duty RX by Cantech Labs.
Welcome back to Me, Myself, and Liberty. Again, I'm here with Brandon Dutcher. He is with OCPA, and we are talking about school choice. And if you missed the last little segment there, we talked about really what is school choice. And some pieces of that obviously are public school, which is, depending on where you live, could be good, could maybe not. And homeschool. So homeschool, what in the state of Oklahoma, what is homeschool? For those people who may not have, be familiar with it.
Well, yeah, and it's thriving. We don't know exactly how many there are. I would say around 25,000, but fortunately, as it should be in a free country, we don't have to report to bureaucrats. So State Department of Ed doesn't know how many of us there are.
Yeah.
But that's probably a good estimate. So parents design or buy their own curriculum and do it themselves. And now, a lot of them are leaning more and more on online. And so Epic Charter School, which is an online charter school, is sort of like a homeschool for a lot of people. So
yeah.
there's a blurring of the lines on those. But again, it's healthy in a marketplace to have all sorts of options and what's best for each kid.
Yeah. So Epic Charter Schools, there's a lot of information and misinformation out there about what that is. Can you talk a little bit about Epic Charter Schools?
Well, there are at least 4 that I know of online charter schools in Oklahoma. Epic is the biggest. I mean, Connections Academies, and there are others, but Epic is the one that's the biggest and growing the fastest, and and now it's very much under attack by some liberal activists and journalists, to the extent those two can be distinguished. But you wonder if Epic and these online schools are so bad, why are people flocking to them? It's like they have thousands of students. They're one of the largest public school districts in the state now. Epic is. Because, and what's the number one reason they get kids? They'll tell you, bullying.
Bullying, yeah.
And so,
and if you have kids, you will deal with this, whether your child is the bully or gets bullied or has a friend, who deals with that. And bullying is that's very serious. And there's no way in some cases to escape it.
It's very
in teachers' hands, this is one of those subjects I could just kind of go off over on the deep end, but teachers' hands are tied in so many cases in public school environments where they can't do anything about a bullying situation. Another one of the comments from one of my Facebook friends, he talked about how restricted they are with discipline and being able to do anything about it. So I think that's one reason that the online option is great, especially if when we homeschooled, it's not free. I mean, there's some substantial, this idea that if you're homeschooling, you don't, that money that you're paying for taxes, you don't need that. Yes, you do. It's expensive. I know the curriculums that we purchased and the science labs and all the things that we needed to purchase, it wasn't cheap. It was very expensive.
Yeah, it can add up. There was a bill this year, passed a House committee. It didn't get any further, but it would have provided a tax credit for homeschoolers.
Yeah.
Or for private school tuition, or for certain like public school band uniforms, athletic uniforms. So I think that's a good idea to give more purchasing power to parents. So we'll see if that moves any further next year.
Oh yeah, and it would also allow the people who are in the inner cities who, we were able to purchase those things, but a lot of them, those parents, they would rather homeschool or have be part of a co-op or something like that. And they can't because they just don't have the funds. So we're taking away their choice. They don't have a choice.
That's a real good point.
So, okay, so we talked about homeschools, private schools. Okay, so who is for for school choice?
Well, the most important thing is Oklahoma parents and voters are for it. Again, you wouldn't know this from the media, but there have been, in the last 5 years, 12 public opinion surveys of Oklahoma voters. 11 of them have shown strong support for various forms of private school choice. Talking about vouchers, tax credits, education savings accounts. And in fact, I've got one of the questions. This was from January of this year from WPA Intelligence, which is Chris Wilson's firm. He's the governor's pollster. He said, if you could choose any type of school for your own kids and cost and transportation was not a concern, what would you pick? 46% said a traditional public school, but 50% said something else. The largest was private school, and some said charter, some said home. So that just tells you there's a huge demand out there for choices. People, they want to have different choices, and so that's who's for school choice. Certainly parents, more so parents whose kids are bullied, who are in a crisis right now, or maybe it's kids who have special needs, or maybe it's kids who have any number of extenuating circumstances. I mean, to say, no, you have to go to the public school closest to your house, and it's going to be one size fits all, and if it doesn't work for you, well, sorry, this is the way we're doing it. No, that's not the way we're doing it. You got to have many, many choices.
Yes, and even if you're in a situation where you're fortunate enough to be able to get a transfer or qualify for a transfer, again, we go back to the people right now who need this the most in the inner cities. How are they going to, in many cases, get their child to that other school across town because they may be in a better situation, or they won't deal with the bully or the gang or whatever they may be dealing with? We're, again, taking that choice away from the people who need it the most by not including them in this. So something to think about. So so who is against it?
Well,
and I'll say this before you. So think about this. We say you know somebody by their enemies or by their friends.
Yeah.
Think about this. If you are a conservative and you're on the fence about school choice, look who's attacking school choice, and that should tell you all you need to know about if it's a good thing.
Right, and all the Democratic presidential candidates just paraded to the NEA annual meeting last week, and all denounced school choice, and they're all trying to kiss the ring. But that's one example of all leading Democrat politicians, at least on the national level, are against it. It's the education special interest groups that benefit from the status quo. Not only the school employee labor unions like the OEA, which profit from getting more dues, but the whole collection of interest groups, what Bill Bennett called the blob.
That's a great.
Secretary of Ed Bill Bennett called it the blob. So it's the teacher unions, the superintendents association, the administrators, the school board association, the PTA. I mean, the whole public school blob, and they're very powerful because there's a lot of them.
Yes, there's a lot of them.
By the system. So they have a lot of power. They have a lot of power on social media. They have a lot of they give campaign contributions. So it's tough. That's why enacting school choice is not easy. It's very difficult. Oklahoma has done it not only with charter schools and virtual charters, but Oklahoma has a voucher program. Oklahoma has a tax credit program, but it didn't come easy, and growing them doesn't come easy because the blob is so opposed.
Yeah, we're going to talk more about that when we get back from this break, because I also want to talk about the state's largest labor union. The membership has fallen 44% since '93, and I didn't know that until you posted that the other day. So we'll show that. I think we have a screenshot of that. But we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Introducing all new, safe, natural relief. A cannabinoid-rich, clarity and focus formula with 17 essential supplements. When it matters most, you've got a job to do. Anxiety isn't an option. Programmed to keep you moving. A product exclusively manufactured for Active Duty RX by Cantech Labs.
Greetings. Salutations. This is Moto with OTUmedia, here to tell you about the latest product on our shelves. If your boyfriend doesn't have a beard, then you have a girlfriend. Do you need a beard growth formula that's radio frequency programmed for maximum bioavailability? Then you need Bud Brothers Beard Co.'s Beard Growth Formula. Find it at the OTU Media store at www.oklahomataxpayersunite.com/OTU-store and continue to support OTU Media and Oklahoma Taxpayers Unite.
Welcome back. All right, so I'm here with Brandon Dutcher, and we are talking about school choice. All right, so you'd mentioned in the last segment about the Oklahoma voucher program. So talk about that. Explain to the audience what that is.
Yeah, a lot of people don't even know that Oklahoma has a private school scholarship or voucher program, but we do. The Lindsay Nicole Henry Scholarship was enacted in 2010. It was originally for special needs kids, so if you're on an IEP, you're eligible. So there's 100,000 kids in Oklahoma right now eligible. That's 1 out of every 7 kids in Oklahoma right now eligible for a private school.
Wow. See, that's something a lot of people don't realize. So any child that is on an IEP,
right.
Did I say that right? IEP?
Yeah,
IEP?
Individualized
Okay.
Education Plan. Yeah.
So they would qualify for that.
They are qualified. They would just go to the State Department of Ed website, go to the Lindsay Nicole Henry page, look at see what schools participate, and see if any of them interest you. And then beyond that, lawmakers expanded it eligibility to foster kids.
Oh, wow.
Kids adopted out of state custody. So there are a whole lot of kids eligible for a private school scholarship right now. Very
Wow,
encouraging.
very interesting. Huh, okay. So, one of the common misconceptions about school vouchers and school choice is that it's actually going to take funds away from um, public school or drain drain it somehow. So, talk about that.
Yeah, that's a common argument. It siphons money from the public schools. I think it's important right off the bat to not grant the premise that the public schools are entitled to the money in the first place.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I mean, if you think about the system. We're going to take money from you, and you have to go to this school closest to your house. I mean, that's not the way we do any of the rest of American life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have other government programs, but we let people choose their providers.
Yeah.
So we have Medicaid, Medicare, but you don't have to go to a government-owned hospital. You can choose your provider, Mercy, St. Anthony, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We have food stamps.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to go to the heavily unionized, government-owned and operated grocery store closest to your house.
Yeah, which is yeah, I haven't even thought about that. That's an interesting point. You can
choose
go to Crest or Uptown
That's right.
or
Choose your
Walmart.
provider. Public housing, the same way. Even the largest part of Section 8 housing is called the Choice Voucher Program. People can choose townhouses, apartments, whatever. So if we're going to have government programs, if we're going to have government education, well, at least let people choose their providers.
Yeah.
And that's what a voucher does, or a tax credit. I mean, a tax credit is a little different, even better.
Mm-hmm.
You get to keep the money and not even send it to the Oklahoma Tax Commission to begin with. But all of the above. We need all of the above choices. So, we don't say, back to your question, you can't go to the doctor you want. You can't go to your family doctor because that drains money from the government doctor that we've chosen for you. Well,
yeah.
And so it doesn't hold water. And not to mention the fact, it actually, a voucher, if you think about it, it increases per pupil funding. Even he's not there anymore, but a UCO economist named Mickey Hepner, who's a big Democrat, Obama guy, he said, look, if you want to increase per pupil funding, pass a school voucher program. The math is real easy because say you create say Oklahoma spends $9,000 per pupil. Say you create a $5,000 voucher. The kid leaves with $5,000, but the federal and local money stays behind. So the schools have more money per
pupil. Okay, so I want to make sure everybody out there is understanding that because I actually I attended something at OCPA. I guess it's been just over a year ago now, and had it explained like that. And with anything else, when you're talking about math, that's pretty simple. I mean, you have $9,000 total, of which part of that is the local.
Part's federal and part's state.
Yes. Right. So that stays with the school. That stays with that school district, right? So if that student goes to a private school or homeschool or charter school or whatever, that there of that $9,000, that $5,000 of that voucher is all that's going with them. So.
Yeah, and that's a hypothetical.
I know, hypothetical. You're going to have people that are like, okay, now wait a minute, where is this $9,000? No, the point is, part of the money stays behind.
That's right. Well, it depends on how you draft the law. There are 60 private school choice programs in 30 states. They're all different. Mm-hmm. So you can draft it however you want. I'd like a voucher bigger than $5,000.
Yeah, I would too.
But take what you can get. We like a bigger tax credit, but we do the best we can. But anyway, the point to say that it drains money from the public schools, I simply say the public schools aren't entitled to it. Yes, politicians are going to spend money on education, but that doesn't mean they have to give it all to the system. Give it to parents, let them decide.
Yeah, okay. So how much choice do we really have in Oklahoma right now? I know we talked about the other side of it, but how much choice do we really have?
The short answer is not enough, but more than you may think, more than people realize. I mean, we do have, as I said, charter schools. I think 37 charter schools. Many of them have waiting lists. We have virtual schools, which are exploding, especially Epic. Kids are flocking there to the point where school districts, big and small, Tulsa Union is one, Grove is another that comes to mind. They're starting their own virtual schools. The Grove superintendent said in the paper the other day, look, we're losing all these kids to virtual schools. We got to start our own.
Yeah.
And they did.
And guess what? And you have to make a better product. Yeah.
That's right.
So
which is the point.
competition.
That's the
it
very point.
works every single time.
Sure
if
does.
you're going to take my customer away from me, I better do a better job taking care of that customer if I want to keep them.
That's exactly. It is so true. I remember OCPA had a dinner probably a dozen years ago. John Walton, the late John Walton, is an education philanthropist, Sam Walton's son. And he was talking about Walmart. He said, in our business, the toughest stores to run are the ones with the least competition.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that true? I mean,
yeah.
If a Target opens up across the street, well, Walmart's getting better, and Target's they're each getting
yes.
better. And so that's another beauty of school choice. So we do have, like I said, we have charter and virtual, we have voucher, we have tax credits. I'm on the board of the Opportunity Scholarship Fund, which gives scholarships, private school scholarships to kids. I would urge people to check that out too, because you may be eligible. You likely are eligible for a private school scholarship.
And was that a website? Where can people find that?
I'll just
Or
plug it. osfkids.org.
Okay, we'll plug that into the comments too.
Perfect.
So we want to make sure that everybody gets that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about what's next here in Oklahoma and how we can help and how we can reach you and all that fun stuff. So,
Great.
okay, we're going to take a break. Hi, I'm Leslie Nesmith, host of Me, Myself, and Liberty right here on OTUmedia. I'd like to ask you to go to www.patreon.com/OTUmedia to support us. By going to patreon.com, you are supporting everything that we do here at OTUmedia and Oklahoma Taxpayers Unite. We are getting the word out, so join us.
Is your kitchen looking sad these days? Are you tired of looking at that old, dated bathroom? From rooftops to those unsightly holes in the walls, Complete Contracting has got you covered. Call 405-676-0595 today to schedule an estimate. Once again, that number is 405-676-0595. And remember, Complete Contracting has the contracting expertise for all your renovation and repair needs.
Welcome back. All right. So what I want to hear about now is who is benefiting? How is this helping kids right now?
Well, on the private school side, which is what I know the most about, there are probably 4,000-ish kids participating in the voucher or the tax credit right now, which is not a lot out of 700,000 or so kids in the state, but it's a start. And it's so rewarding for me to meet these kids and go to these various schools or talk to the parents, and it's crazy the words that come out of the parents' mouth almost always. The two most common words I hear is, "It's been a lifesaver."
Yeah.
"It's been a godsend."
Yes.
It's like the parents have got together and said, "Well,
yeah.
what word are we going to use?"
It's almost like the Democrat, their talking points.
Right,
They got together and they have their talking points over here.
But I mean, the parents just can't help. They say it's a lifesaver. It's a
Yeah.
godsend. I mean, because literally I think of this girl Felicia in Tulsa who was bullied so relentlessly that she ate her lunch in the bathroom, and her mom said she talked about killing herself, and she'd curl up in a ball in the morning and, "Don't make me go to school." She's on the Lindsay Nicole Henry, or was, and graduated now. Changed everything. I think there's this kid Dylan he was bullied so bad that he had a plan to kill himself. He knew where his stepdad kept his gun under the bed and so forth. So he gets the Lindsay Nicole Henry voucher, goes to Trinity School, made all the difference, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many, up in North Tulsa, there's a pastor who, he discovered that there were 22 black senior boys in Tulsa Public Schools that were college ready in 2015. Not 22% of black boys, 22 boys.
Oh my gosh.
Total Tulsa Public
That is
Schools college ready.
crazy.
He said, "This is enough. I can't put up with this." He started a private school, and he and some other of his compadres. Crossover Preparatory Academy, funded almost exclusively through the tax credit scholarship. It couldn't exist without the tax credit scholarship. And it's, can you imagine completely transforming their lives and starting to transform parts of North Tulsa? Again, but of course, school choice is just for the rich.
For the rich, yeah, it's for the rich.
On and on. Positive Tomorrows, of course, the great
Yes.
private school for homeless kids. Tax credit scholarship funded to a great extent, helping them. There's a school a lot of people don't know about, Mission Academy in Oklahoma City. It's a sober high school. Kids that they can't go back to their public school because they run with the same crowd again and they get in the same problem. So they have to go to this school. It's very intensive, expensive, but again, the tax credit scholarship is helping in these kids. I could go on and on.
Isn't there a school, I wish I could, maybe it's the Mission Academy. What is the one that's somehow attached to OSU or OKC? Or
you're thinking of Cristo Rey.
Yeah, so what, and that's kind of a neat program.
That's a brand new, it's for kids, largely Hispanic, most likely wouldn't be college bound if not for Cristo Rey. They came to Oklahoma because Oklahoma has a tax credit scholarship law.
Yeah.
Without it, they wouldn't have come here.
And they work. There's like
they
a
work 1 day a week and they go to school 4
and it
days
helps
a week.
pay
Helps
for
pay for their tuition,
which is fantastic. And that's just one more option. It's different than the online school. It's different than homeschool. It's different than private school. But the kids that go there, it's what they need,
exactly.
and it's going to help them be successful.
Exactly right.
So not just rich folks, y'all.
Yeah. Well, rich folks don't need school choice. They
No.
can
Yeah.
afford it anyway. They can
Yeah.
afford to do what they want anyway.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. Okay, so what is next in Oklahoma for school choice?
Well, I think we need to expand the programs that we have. I mean, I have no doubt that charters and virtual charters will continue to grow. New charters open from time to time. I think we need to expand the scholarship voucher program. There were bills this year to attempt to do that. So in not just special needs and foster and adopted, but there was a bill to add homeless kids, to add children of incarcerated parents. There was a bill to do a voucher for bullied kids, which Florida has that new law, which is fantastic. So I think Oklahoma needs to try. I mean, ultimately, we shouldn't have all these little boutique programs. Everyone should have school choice.
Yeah.
Everyone should have a voucher or a
Yes.
tax credit to go wherever they want. The blob would never abide that.
No.
So you have to do what you can. You have to work to get as many people on school choice as you can. So there were bills to do that didn't quite make it. So I think we try again. And we need to expand the tax credit scholarship program, which I've been talking about. That's helped all these kids. But it's hit, it's limited. It's hit its cap, and now it's just kind of stuck there. And there's so many more kids that can be helped. There was an intense battle to pass that bill. Dave Rader and John Eccles had the legislation. It got almost all the way there, didn't. Governor Stitt told OCPA last week that he thinks we'll get it over the finish line in 2020.
Well, that'd be great. Okay, so how can people get involved in this? What can they do?
There are a lot of websites to go to get information. OCPAthink.org, and I'm sure you put these on the screen. I have a blog called choiceremarks.com and a Facebook page. So just go to Facebook, Choice Remarks.
Choice Remarks, okay.
And just like that, and then you'll be plugged in and aware of what all we're doing. There's, write to me at brandon@ocpathink.org, and I'm sure they'll put this on the screen. But if you have questions, comments, want to get involved specifically on things, I host a monthly School Choice Coalition meeting. I can add you to that mailing.
Oh,
list
yeah, that
so
would be
people can
great.
come. We have great speakers and so forth. There's another website I like to plug called okpastors.com.
Okay, pastors, okay.
So if you're a pastor or if you're a parishioner who thinks your pastor should know about this, it's just an open letter in which I've got 100+ pastors have signed so far, saying, look, parents need options. Some of our people in our congregations choose public, some choose charter. That's great. Some choose private, and let's do more for them too as well in terms of the scholarships and the tax credit scholarship. So pastors have signed that. So go to okpastors.com. So between all those websites, I've given people lots of places to go.
People, there's no excuse for you not having the information.
Right.
Please take the time to educate yourself on this, because there is so much misinformation out there. When I talk to people one-on-one about it, it's amazing how many people have the wrong idea. And I'm talking conservatives that have the wrong idea about school choice. So I really appreciate you working so hard for this cause. As a parent of 6 kids, and we've had homeschool, we have 2 in private school now, we have 1 in public school, 1 is attending OSU, 2 are out on their own. So we have a mixture, and that's what we needed.
Right.
But thank God we're blessed and could afford to pay for it. But if we couldn't have, we would be in the same position as so many people here in the state of Oklahoma. So we have that choice. We just want all of you to have that same choice.
Absolutely.
So, okay, well, thank you for joining me today, and I hope that you come back on the show.
For sure.
Yes. All right. Join us next week on Me, Myself, and Liberty.